Hello and welcome to Facebook Live with International TEFL Academy. My name is Britton. I'm an admissions advisor here at ITA. And joining us today, all the way from Japan, we have Kelsie Foster, one of our social media ambassadors. She's going to tell us all about her life living there in Japan in Kumamoto. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today. What time of day is it right now in Japan?
It is 8 a.m. on Friday.
8 a.m. All right. Well, it's Thursday here. It's Friday there. You're closer to the weekend, but thanks for joining us again. So, Kelsie, just to start, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what were you doing, why are you in Japan right now? Tell us everything.
Yeah, I'm from Texas, and after graduating from college, I basically was talking to one of my friends about teaching. She was teaching in Spain. Actually, she still is teaching in Spain. And I was talking to her like, oh, I want to travel. I want to travel the world. And she was like, oh, well, you should get your teaching certification and travel. And so, like 2 months later, after graduating from college, that's what I did. And I lived at home for a year and saved up money and then got a job and moved to Japan. So, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So, grew up in Texas. Had you done much traveling before this? I mean, it's a big leap to just go move to Japan.
I've done a little bit of traveling thanks to my grandparents. My grandma and grandpa really love to travel, and so I think that's where I got it from, just the love of seeing other places and other cultures. But I had never been to Asia before moving here. So I felt like Japan was the safest option for me first moving to Asia.
Okay. Cool. Well, from all of your photos that you put up on social media, it looks like you're having an amazing time. So, yeah, you are one of our social media ambassadors here, putting out a lot of good videos and pictures for us. So, I always love seeing what you're doing out there. So, before we talk more about Japan, I'm very excited to hear about your life there. Tell us a little bit about your certification class. How did you get certified in order to be able to teach in Japan?
Yeah, I was looking into doing the class option where you actually go to the classroom. But for me, it was the best option to do the online course because I was working at the time and I could just log in online and do it whenever I needed to. So I got my certification through the online course. And yeah, I loved it because I could just do it whenever I needed to or wanted to while I was working.
Right. Yeah. Very convenient for sure. So, as
Yeah.
Kelsie was saying, there's two types of classes that you can take in order to get certified to teach English as a foreign language. So, if you hear TEFL, TEFL, this is what we're talking about, the certification that it takes to teach English in another country. So, we have these in-person classes that are 4 weeks and intense. And then we have an online class, which is part-time and flexible. So you can do it as you're working like Kelsie did. So Kelsie, what did you think was the most challenging part of the online class?
Well, the most challenging part for me was the practicum, which at the end you do a practicum and you actually go and teach. And that was the most challenging part for me, just basically getting over the I guess like nervousness and just not really having much experience in the classroom. But the online class did prepare you for that. You watched many videos and you wrote papers and actually did lesson plans. But I guess just first going into the classroom, like, oh, this is like the first time doing this, so it was a little challenging. Um, and the places that I did my practicum, I, made my own lesson plans and everything. So the class prepared me for that. And yeah, just, yeah.
Yeah, the practicum, I know firsthand what you're talking about. Those first few
Yeah.
lessons when you're up there and it's like, I mean, I was a finance major before I got certified to teach, so I had no teaching experience. And all of a sudden, people are staring at you and they speak a different language. And how do I do this?
Yeah.
Tell me about the first couple lessons. Were there a couple? This is a requirement in order to pass the class and get certified, and there's a reason for it. Language schools want to see that, okay, you've done this before, you've taught, you've made those mistakes. So, were your first few lessons absolutely perfect?
No, definitely not perfect. I was actually teaching at two different organizations, which were completely different. So one of them, I was teaching a group of Mexican women, and then at the other organization, I was teaching refugees, and most of the refugees were illiterate. So, it was literally starting from like writing ABCs and writing their name. Um, so it was just a completely eye-opening experience. Like, wow, you know, I I didn't even think about that, I guess, teaching adults at that point, like starting from literally ground zero and working my way up.
Yeah.
But yeah, my first classes were definitely not perfect.
Yeah, I can tell you firsthand, mine were not as well. I was in Prague in the Czech Republic, and first few lessons weren't great, but that's the point of class and the training. But yeah, it's a great way to help people. Of course, if you're teaching refugees, what a great way to volunteer your time. And then at the end of it, you can move to Japan, move to Thailand, wherever you want to go and make some money, support yourself financially while you're doing this. So how has the certification class really benefited you in your teaching now that you are overseas?
Yeah, the methods that they teach you, and also they really, or the online class really talks about cultural sensitivity, which I think is a big thing, especially in Japan, because it's a completely different culture. And, like, even if something is totally normal in the US, it may not be considered polite here or normal. So that was really helpful, which I guess is kind of random. Like, I never would have thought cultural sensitivity would be such a big thing, but definitely moving to Japan it is. And also, just writing my own lesson plans, thinking about transitions and just thinking about the big picture of the lesson, not just like what I'm trying to make them learn. Um, so yeah, I think those would be the
Sure.
biggest
Yeah, the
things.
lesson planning. The lesson planning is tough at first.
It
I know
really,
for me, it took me a long time at first to prepare those first lesson plans, but it's something that you get better at as you go. So, yeah, the TEFL certification class. Of course, this is a key detail in order to be trained, be successful, be confident as an English teacher, and make an impact in other parts of the world. But really, we want to hear about Japan. That's why we're here. So. You are in Kumamoto, which I must admit I haven't really heard of before now. So there's so many cool places you could have gone in Japan to teach. Why are you in Kumamoto?
well, actually, I'm in Kumamoto because my company sent me here. My company has about 1,500 schools all over Japan, even in Hokkaido, which is the most northern island. So yeah, we have schools all over, and I was actually supposed to go to a different city. Um, and actually, I was already in Japan, and they said, "Oh, we're sending you to Kumamoto." So that's how I got here.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, you're doing it. You've been there about 6 months now. And even the way that you say Kumamoto, I mean, it sounds like you're a natural already. So we did have a question come in from the audience that's related to this. So did you know any Japanese before you went over there? Of course, a very different language than English. Did you have any experience with this before you made the move?
I actually studied a bit. I only studied for a couple months. Um, and so I learned a bit of Japanese before I got here, but it doesn't compare to actually moving here and really hearing daily Japanese. Because you can study from a book or study by yourself, but just hearing locals speak Japanese and what people actually say definitely makes a difference. So
Absolutely.
just a little bit before I got here.
Well, it's cool. I mean, it's the best way to learn a language, right? Is surrounding yourself by it, being immersed in that language. So, this is a very common reason that people want to teach English in other countries. Some people are really want the teaching experience, some want to travel, some want to learn a language. And a big reason why we can do this, why we can go and teach in other countries is, well, we're experts in the English language and we can go and immerse students in other cultures in this English language, kind of like you're being immersed in Japanese.
Yeah.
Now, to get back to the job side of things, you mentioned you're working for a big language school, many locations. How is it that you found this job?
I actually found the job through TEFL. So TEFL gives you a full list of schools categorized by each country. So, yeah, I was looking at schools in Japan with the list that TEFL gives you and found Peppy Kids Club. Basically, went to their website and applied. Yeah.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. So,
it was easy.
Happy Kids Club. That's the school.
Yes.
All right, that is fantastic. Peppy Kids Club. I want to work there. Um, cool. Well, yeah, International TEFL Academy. That's a big part of what we do beyond just getting certified to teach English as a foreign language. This TEFL, but also helping students to find a job because there's Asia, Latin America, Europe, Middle East. There's so many places you can go and teach, and they all have different requirements for how to find a job. So that's how you got to Kumamoto. And so, are you teaching Peppy Kids? Tell me about the Peppy Kids there.
Well, it's an eikaiwa, and in Japan, an eikaiwa is basically a private language school, and I usually teach from 5 p.m. to about like 8 or 9 at night. Sometimes my classes start at 2:30. But yeah, my kids' ages range from 2 to 17. So I teach literally all age children.
Okay. 2 to 17. Yeah, there would be very different lessons
Yeah.
depending on the age group and the level for sure. So I think a big piece that people don't understand is what does it actually look like on a day-to-day basis? When I first learned of teaching English in other countries, I pictured myself standing in front of a chalkboard with like 30 little kids staring at me, but that's not always what it looks like. So can you describe kind of a day in the life of Kelsie Foster at the Peppy Kids Club?
Yeah, so usually with the smaller classes, we have a lot of picture cards, which are basically like flashcards with vocabulary and pictures on them. And with the smaller classes, we're teaching them basic things like vocabulary on places, food, animals, colors, shapes, numbers, and the alphabet, things like that. We have songs And it's supposed to be fun, so it's not just like a serious environment. We're Peppy Kids Club, so we're singing, dancing around, playing with them basically. And yeah, so um, that's with the smaller um, little babies. And then with the older children, we it's more of a serious environment. Um, but it's still fun, and we play games, and with the older children we use the textbooks more, and do lots of more writing activities and that sort of thing.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, very, very different lessons depending on who you're teaching, whether it's songs and games and dancing with 2-year-old peppy kids, or I taught adults, and a lot of my students already knew English pretty well. They just wanted to get even better. So where you teach, who you teach, it's going to look very different depending on where you go, but there's lots of options. So that's the nice thing. So again, this is International TEFL Academy. We're doing a Facebook Live with Kelsie Foster all the way from Japan. It's 8 o'clock in the morning there. So nice of her to join us. Now, another big question people want to know about. It's been in the comments here. Can you make pretty good money in Japan? What's a normal salary there for an English teacher?
You can make pretty good money, and um, I guess I'll tell you like how I'm paid. I know some schools pay you by the class, but with my company, they pay us by the day. So it doesn't matter if you have one class or five classes that day. You're paid for the day. Um, and I know a lot of people also ask, like, oh, can you save money? How much can you save? You can save money. I travel at least like once a month, so I'm not saving that much money at all. But you can save money, and you can have a comfortable life living here. So.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's up to you what you do with your money. And if you want to travel, if that's your goal, then absolutely do that. It's a good opportunity to travel around Japan and Asia without having to fly back and forth across the Pacific Ocean a bunch of times to do this. And in terms of money and what you can expect as an English teacher, most of the countries in the world where you can teach, Europe, Latin America, you're going to make plenty of money to at least break even and support yourself financially. Whereas in many parts of Asia, like Kelsie said, you can save money after expenses, but you're spending it on travel. Sounds like a good way to spend your money. What's
Yeah.
a couple places you've been to recently? Where have you been traveling?
I've pretty much traveled. Well, I mean, I've only traveled in Japan. So this month I'm going to Korea. I'm very excited about that. And I've been to Tokyo. I've been to Sapporo in Hokkaido, which is, like I said earlier, the most northern island is Hokkaido. And I've been to Kyoto, Fukuoka, which most people don't know, but it's the biggest city in Kyushu, which is the most southern prefecture where I live. So yeah, I've pretty much just like jumped around all over Japan, um, but I'm ready for more. So.
Good. Well, you're only 6 months in, so more time to teach and travel. And the certification itself, TEFL, it's good for life. It never expires. So if you want to be a lifelong career traveling English teacher, you can. I know a lot of my friends, they've been in the same country teaching for 5 years or more. So it is what you make of it. Now, we had a question come in from the audience that I just have to ask. We have someone tuning in who's going to be working at the Peppy Kids Club starting in June, the same language school. So,
Really?
yeah, so perfect that she's
Yay!
here tuning in, he or she. So if you had any advice for this person who's about to start at the Peppy Kids Club, any advice for him?
Yes. Oh, okay. Hello, David. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, so we have a 2-week training course, as you know. So I guess you'll be starting your 2-week training course in June. And It's pretty intense, but don't get stressed out. I know a lot of people like they just get really stressed out about the 2 week training course because it's pretty intense and you're learning so much information within 2 weeks. But um, I just want to give you advice that don't get stressed out. You know, we are here to have fun and it is a job, but don't take yourself too seriously. And also just keep an open mind when you come to Japan. With an open mind and a positive attitude, you never know what can happen. And um, also, I don't know where your placement will be. Um, but yeah, make sure you have enough money saved up because transportation is kind of expensive here.
Okay,
That's
cool.
my advice.
I love it though. I mean, David's tuning in. He's starting in June. Good for you, David. About to start an amazing adventure here. Now, you were placed in Kumamoto, and some language schools will do it that way, where they will tell you where you work. In many other cases, I would say most cases, you're going to choose where you get to work, whether you want to go to Europe, Latin America, Asia. Oftentimes, you have the choice, or you can just leave it up to fate and go where the world takes you. So that's a good approach too. Now, you mentioned saving money, and there was another question in our comments section about how much should you save before teaching abroad. So can you expand on that a little bit more? What would be a good amount to have saved up before going to Japan?
Yeah, well, personally, I saved $5,000 before coming to Japan just to make sure that I had enough money if something unforeseen happened. And that was enough money for me. Um, for Japan, the most expensive thing is rent and, like I said, transportation. And yeah, so I mean, like, if you're, you know, gonna be like traveling, I guess, once you first get here, um, bring more money. But I mean, it's the yen and the dollar. People always say, like, oh, Japan is so expensive, but it's really not that much more expensive when you break it down compared to America. Like, if you have a car back in America, it's pretty comparable, like the same amount of money if you're paying like insurance and paying a car payment. Um, then like for me, I'm riding the train every day or buses or tram. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So there you go. 5,000 is a good number to have saved up for Japan. Now, with International TEFL Academy, you can talk with an expert admissions advisor about this whole process because every country is very unique, not only culturally and the language that they speak, but in terms of how do I get a job there? How much will I be paid? How much should I have saved up? So while 5,000 might be a good number for Japan, if you're going to Nicaragua, Chile, Spain, it's going to be a very different number. So you can go to our website, internationalteflacademy.com, International TEFL Academy, and you can request contact, a phone call from an advisor, someone like myself. So that said, we've talked a little bit about your job and how you found the job. How long does that whole process take from you start your course, you start interviewing for jobs, how long between start to finish landing in Japan?
I would say for me, I took my time in finding a job. I wasn't like rushing myself. So it was about 8 months. I like finished the course, did my practicum. I was like applying to jobs while finishing my practicum. And then I got hired very quickly. But the thing that took the most time was getting my visa.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's a good point, and that's something we should talk about is getting a visa, because one thing is finding a job in a foreign country. How do you do that? But also, you need the legal right to live there and work there. So you need not only a passport but a visa. So what is the process for getting a visa in Japan?
Yeah, so with my school, um, one of the reasons why I picked the job that I did is because they sponsored my visa. So basically, they send you some forms. It's called a COE, a Certificate of Eligibility. And basically, you fill out a bunch of forms, you send in passport photos, your passport, and I had to mail it to Japan, and then they mailed it back to me, and then I contacted my consulate in Houston, Texas, and I mailed them forms, and then finally they mailed me my visa. So it took about 2 months for that whole process to go down.
Okay, cool. So 2 months just for the visa. So if you're
Yeah,
planning ahead and you're thinking maybe I want to teach 1 year from now, 2 years from now, it's really never too early to start planning, because things like this, they take time. You need a visa, you need a job, you need to tie up some loose ends at home. So again, I would recommend giving yourself as much time as possible and doing a lot of research beforehand before actually making the jump to another country.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, so thanks for the information about the visa. What about a place to live? How do you go from the United States to just moving to Japan? You need a place to live. How did you find a place?
Yeah, with my company, fortunately, they provided me with a place to live. So, yeah, it's furnished. All I had to do was just move in. They provided me with pretty much everything I needed, um, apart from, personal things. Um, and yeah, so they take my rent out of my check before I get the money that I made. Um, so yeah, it was very easy, but I've talked to people who have found places on their own here, and if you speak Japanese or if you read Japanese really well, it could be easy. But you may, if you're trying to find a place alone, you may want to have someone that speaks Japanese who can help you.
Right, right. Cool. Well, that makes it easy when the school will just find a place for you. And that is
Yeah, really easy.
common in many Asian countries: South Korea, China, Japan. These are three of the biggest job markets in the world. For English teachers in these countries, oftentimes the housing is paid for you, or maybe they take just some money out of your paycheck to make it happen for you. But no matter where you go to teach, if you want to go to Prague like I did, if you want to hit the beach in Costa Rica, you'll at least make enough money to pay the bills, pay the rent, and even if it's not provided for you directly by your school. So we've covered a lot of the logistical questions of visas, jobs, how do I get certified? Now I've never been to Japan and I want to hear about it. So right now, is it blossoming? Do you have the spring season, the rose bushes? What is it? I'm so ignorant. What's blossoming right now?
Well, the cherry blossoms, they just went away. Like basically it was just last week. They don't last too long, so you really have to like plan. If you're coming to Japan, really plan. Um, and yeah, so the cherry blossoms just blew away with the wind just last week. But yes, it's beautiful here. All the flowers are blooming. The weather's getting very warm, so it's lovely.
Okay. All right. Yeah. The cherry blossoms. That's what it is. I knew that the whole time. Thank you for the help. But yeah, saw some of your pictures. It looks beautiful. Definitely on my bucket list to go check that out. Now we have
Yeah.
another question from the comments section. One of my favorite topics, food. What is like the best meal that you have had in Japan or Kumamoto? Tell us about the food scene there.
Well, the food here is amazing. Like their food quality and their food standards is so high. Like it's amazing. Everything's super fresh. The vegetables are very fresh. Of course, the fish is amazing. Um, I would say my favorite thing I've eaten here is sushi. I love sushi. Um, and we have in Kyushu, the prefecture I'm in, we have um, our own ramen. So, like, each area of Japan has their own ramen or their own broth. So, we have our special ramen here, and it's so delicious. It's really creamy. And yeah, there's so many good foods here. Personally, I love mochi. I know some people don't like it, but I love mochi. Um, but yeah, I'm not picky when it comes to food, but the food here is amazing. So
Okay.
yeah,
Sushi, ramen. I love both of those dishes myself. Um, but what if you just wanted like a good cheeseburger? I mean, is there any Western food out there too?
yeah, there is, and everything that they do, like all the food here, even if it's Japanese, it's so good. Like the cheeseburgers here, they're on point.
All right.
So you can find anything.
I'll go to Japan for the ramen, not for a cheeseburger, but why not? Try a cheeseburger in Japan. Trust me that it's good. So, also, I heard that vending machines are really common in Japan, and you can get some crazy things from a vending machine. Is this true?
Yeah, vending machines are everywhere. Like, for example, 2 weeks ago, I went to Kagoshima, which is another city in Kyushu, and I was like driving around in the middle of nowhere, and then there's a vending machine. Like it's like a national park, and there's like a vending machine, but of course there's a nice little trash can. There's no trash anywhere, so but yeah, anywhere like you can find vending machines, and in the vending machines here, they also have hot drinks. So not just cold drinks, but hot drinks also.
Hot drinks, full meals, all from a vending machine. That's wild. I need to go. So we've talked about, the food there, and you can have the local stuff, and then you can also go and get yourself a cheeseburger, a little taste of home, whatever it is. What
Yeah.
about friends? Have you been able to meet many people, like locals and Westerners? Do you have friends of both? Tell me about that.
Actually, most all of my friends here are Japanese. Um, when I first got here, I was like, I just want to make Japanese friends. Like, I'm in Japan, so might as well. So I just started walking around Kumamoto when I first got here and walking in random places, random shops, and that's basically how I made my friends here. Um, yeah, so I don't have too many Western friends. Like all of my Western friends are my coworkers. So most of the people that I hang out with on a daily basis are Japanese.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, it's a fantastic way to get to know a culture is by making friends with the locals, of
Yeah.
course. And if you did move to a new country and how the heck do I meet people here? I don't speak the language. I need some friends that speak English. Just know that we have a huge alumni community that you can tap into for that. So International TEFL Academy, we have over 20,000 alumni, many of whom are teaching across the world. So you can use our alumni community to meet some people, and if you don't want to fully immerse yourself into a new culture. Now, we had another question come in that I'm really interested to hear about because you're selling me on Japan, Kelsie. I need to go eat the ramen and the cheeseburgers, see the cherry blossoms, but
You
it
do?
sounds like it sounds like there's some social norms, some social customs that I should be familiar with. So this was a question from the comments section. What are some social customs that people should know before either moving to or just traveling to Japan?
Yeah, there's lots of social customs here. For instance, I guess the most widely known one would be bowing. So, yeah, you basically, I mean, really not to like close friends, but being very polite. There's certain phrases that you say that you'll hear a lot here. And bowing is a big thing, just to show your appreciation and to be grateful to the person, I guess, for, taking their time, whether they're working for you or whatnot. Um, let's see, what are some other social norms? Just, I guess, like, in America at least, or in the West, we're very upfront or like direct in the way that we speak to each other. But here, um, it's more of like I wouldn't say like an indirectness. It's hard to explain, but they're more shy here. So, like, I guess staring into someone's eyes is very personal. Like in America, it's good to make eye contact. It means that you're focusing on that person and you care about that relationship that's going on. But here, they're very shy, and it's nice to be polite, so not just like staring at them. Um, yeah, I guess I would need to. You should message me personally, and we should talk more about social norms because there's so many, and I really need to like write out a whole thing to explain, I guess, more. I don't know. That was a roundabout way of saying.
Bowing.
The culture here is very different, so yes,
Yes.
sumimasen.
Oh, what was that?
A lot of people. So every time you, I guess, like sumimasen is what you say if you're saying excuse me or sorry, or like if you're walking into some place. Sumimasen.
Sumasen. Okay. All right. Perfect. Well, I'm ready to go. Now you mentioned, hey, message me on Facebook. I can tell you more about this for questions that people have. So how that
Yes.
would actually work. So Kelsie is one of our alumni ambassadors who's on the social media team. She's putting out a lot of great videos and photos of her time in Japan, and she's also active within our Facebook group. We have country-specific Facebook groups that you can join if you enroll in a class with International TEFL Academy. So if you are an enrolled student and you're saying, hey, maybe I want to go to Japan, I want to learn more, Kelsie knows things, you can join the Facebook group for Japan and send Kelsie a message where she can answer all your questions. Right, Kelsie?
Yes, please do.
Okay, cool. So we're getting towards our time limit here, but for all these people who are watching and maybe they're on the fence of, should I do this? Should I make the jump and actually move to another country? It sounds crazy. What would be your biggest piece of advice for someone who's thinking about teaching English in another country?
Go for it. It will change your life. It's an experience of a lifetime, and I know you won't regret it. Like, please just do it if you're thinking about it. It's so wonderful, and it can teach you so many things about yourself and, of course, other cultures. So go for it. Do it.
Okay, just go for it. No regrets. Give it a chance. Well,
Yeah.
we've got a couple more questions from our Facebook comments section, so want to get to those since we do have a few more minutes. So you said sumase. Is my pronunciation okay? Sumase.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
All right, I'll keep working on it. How much Japanese have you learned? You said you studied for a couple months before going there. How much Japanese have you learned since being there?
A lot more. Like, And also my listening has gotten a lot better. I still can't read very much at all. So like I only know katakana, which is one of the three alphabets that they use. But yeah, I can order at restaurants and, speak to people okay. I'm not very conversational yet though.
Okay. All right. Well, good for you. I mean, it's a very different language, but you're going for it. You're living there. It didn't scare you from moving to Japan and following your dreams. So, Kelsie, I just want to thank you again so much. It's early in the morning there. It's your Friday morning. You probably still have to work later, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you got to work later. You woke up early just for this to talk about teaching English and your experience there. So we really appreciate it. I cannot wait to keep seeing the great photos and videos you're pushing out as an ambassador for International TEFL Academy. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much. I had a great time, and please message me if you have any more questions.
Awesome. So there you go. If you're an enrolled student, you can join that Japan Facebook group and send your questions to Kelsie. If you're not an enrolled student, you have more questions, that's where you should consult our website and an advisor, someone like myself who has been trained in all these different places and where you can go teach. So again, International TEFL Academy. You can put in your contact information, ask any questions to one of our advisors. Follow us on Instagram. You can see more pictures from Kelsie. That's all. But yeah, you enjoy your day. Have a great weekend there in Japan.
Thank you. Oyasumi. Kyoskete.
Oh my gosh. Ditto. Yes. Thank you. All right. So that's everything. Cool. Well, you have a good rest of your day. Thanks, Kelsie.
Thank you. Bye-bye.